Alright, what's going on YouTube? This is Keith with Less Magic, More Gathering, and we are back with another deck tech for you. I was really close, like this close to uploading a really bad deck. I mean, it's a good deck, but it's boring. I was going to upload a rotation-proof Arcadis deck, but it's really easy. Here's the deck. You got 4 copies of Arcadis, 2 copies of Tetsuko, 3 copies of each of the walls that are in standard right now, a few dive downs, and some removal spells. Boom, boom, boom. I think it's got some Tezzerets in there. That's the deck. Play all 3 colors of the lands. That's it. You're welcome. That's a freebie. But I didn't want to do that for our weekly deck tech. So this week we're going to use some of the preview cards that we've gotten so far for Guilds of Ravnica, and we are going to build a deck with those bad boys. So before we get started though, take a look down there and follow us on Twitter, please. LMMG2018 on Twitter. Check it out. And we're going to look at 3 channels and 2 channels and a forum that you should check out. First off, we got Orcs Head Magic. Orcs Head Magic is like the UK version of us. They got a little bit of everything. Deck techs, pack openings, product openings, all kinds of good stuff. Good guys. Check them out. Subscribe. Links will be in the description. Next one we're going to look at is Milo the Gathering. Milo has different stuff too, but the main focus is the cube. Any kind of cube info you need, this is the dude to check out. He will set you straight. Cube information like you've never seen before, I promise. Check it out if you're interested in cubes. And finally, Kitchen Table MTG. They didn't have a profile type picture that I could find, so I went with somebody's kitchen table and MTG cards on it. So Kitchen Table MTG is a good forum that can help you answer any questions you've got. When I got on earlier, there were 24 people online on the site when I got on. So it's an active place that you can go to ask questions or look up information if you need it. So that being said, let's get into this deck. We are going with the Swarm, the Golgari Swarm. So we're going to take a look at some creatures here. We're going to start out with 4 copies of Spore Crown Thallid. I had 3 copies of this in at the beginning, but we upped it to 4 because it's very important to the deck, and the more of these you can get out, the stronger the deck's going to be. So obviously Spore Crown Thallid's a 2-drop 2/2, makes all your other fungus and saprolings a little stronger. They get +1/+1. So we got 4 copies of Spore Crown Thallid. We got 3 copies of a new card, Swarm Guildmage. It's a black and a green for a 2/2. It has 2 different abilities here. You can either pay a green and 1 other, and you gain 2 life when you tap it, or you can pay a black and 4 other to give all your creatures +1, +0, and menace until end of turn. So a lot of times that's going to be a good way for us to finish the game, as you'll see as we get going here. We're going to create some saprolings. We're going to get some other creatures out there, and we can use that to swing in for lethal a lot of times, especially with that menace. So next we've got 3 copies of Slimefoot the Stowaway. Slimefoot is going to deal damage and gain us some life when our saprolings die or get sacrificed. That's another big option in this deck. And it can create us more saprolings as a good mana sink. For 4 mana, create a 1/1 green saproling creature token. Next, we've got 3 copies of Thallid Omnivore. This is a 4-drop 3/3. You can pay 1 and sacrifice another creature, and it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And if it was a saproling, you gain 2 life. And we've also got 3 copies of another kind of Lord effect here. Once you get the City's Blessing, Tindershoot Dryad will give your saprolings +2/+2. And then at the beginning of each upkeep, you create a 1/1 green saproling creature token. So good creature here that really helps out the deck, but it is, it's 5 mana for a 2/2. So a lot of times that doesn't make sense, but if you can get it out there after your opponents have used up their removal on some of the other stuff you're playing, and this can stick to the battlefield, it's going to be a strong creature for you. We've also got 2 copies of Underrealm Lich. This is another 5-drop, a 4/3, and it says if you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. So during testing, I realized I had more copies. I think I had 3 copies in the deck, and you don't really want more than 1 of these out. because it's not that strong of a creature. It's not going to benefit any of your other creatures, but the ability to dig through your deck 3 cards at a time is awesome. It lets you dig past lands if you've got all the lands you need. It lets you dig 2 lands if you need lands. It lets you get removal when you need it. It's a really good mechanic, and it worked out really well. Now we're going to move on to our instant spells. Man, I'm dying here. We're going to move on to instants. First off, we've got 3 copies of Spore Swarm. Create 3 1/1 green saproling creature tokens for 4 mana. You know, it's a basic card. Create some saprolings. We got 4 copies of Fungal Infection. This is 1 black. Target creature gets -1/-1, and you create a saproling. So it's going to be pretty good early game removal. You can give something -1/-1, and then block with your saproling if you need to get rid of something with 2 toughness. Or sometimes it's just good to be able to get a blocker on the battlefield for a creature that doesn't have trample or something like that. So Fungal Infection works pretty well. Also a new card here, we got Assassin's Trophy. 2-drop, destroys any permanent that your opponents control, and they search their library for a basic land. So this card's very expensive right now. It's selling on TCG Player for almost $30. So it's a very expensive card, but if you can get your hands on a few copies of it, it's definitely worth putting in any black-green or any other color combination that contains black-green. It's worth putting in. So really good removal, low cost, targets anything your opponents control, and a lot of times this is going to save your butt at instant speed too. Next we're going to look at 1 sorcery we've got in the deck. We've got 2 copies of Saproling Migration. 2-drop that creates 2 saprolings, or you can pay the kicker cost and create 4 saprolings. Kicker cost is 4. And we had to add a Planeswalker in here just because it's fun and new, right? Braska, Golgari Queen, a 4-drop. Comes in with 4 loyalty, and you can +2 to sacrifice another permanent, and if you do, you gain a life, draw a card. So we're going to have plenty of targets for that +2 ability. You don't have to sacrifice anything, but a lot of times, if you've got a Slimefoot out there and a saproling, you sacrifice that away. You gain 2 life, your opponent takes 1, and you draw a card. So, lots of benefit and lots of good sync with the other cards in the deck. You can also -3 to destroy a non-land permanent with converted mana cost of 3 or less. So in something like a mirror match, you can take out a opponent's big saproling if they've got their saprolings pumped up better than you. Or any token for that matter. Dragons, it'll take them down. And then also you can use that against your opponent's enchantments and things like that. So another halfway decent piece of removal there if you absolutely need it. But the main point's going to be to pump this thing up as fast as you can. Get it so that you can hit that ultimate. The ultimate gives you an emblem that says whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So if you've got Braska out there and your guild mage, you give everything menace, swing in. Even if you only deal 1 point of damage, you win. So it can finish off a game sometimes if you can protect it long enough to get that thing pumped up. And hopefully you've got enough saproling production that you've got blockers and things like that, so your opponent's going to have to direct damage her to get that loyalty down so that she can't hit that ultimate. Because if you do, probably going to win. Finally, here we've got an enchantment for you. 2 copies of Fungal Plots. This isn't just another, halfway decent mana sink. You're going to have things dying. It's just natural in the course of a game. So you can exile a creature card from your graveyard and create a saproling. And then you can also sacrifice 2 saprolings to gain 2 life and draw a card. So that'll allow you to draw a lot of cards, especially if you're mid to late game and you've created a bunch of saprolings that you don't necessarily need all of them, and you need to get one of these other cards that's going to help you finish the game. You can sacrifice a couple of them and draw some extra cards. Finally, our land base, we got 7 swamps, we've got 9 forests, we have 4 woodland cemeteries, and we have a new land here, our Shocklands. We got 4 copies of Overgrown Tomb. So that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. It played... I would say it's not as competitive as it should be for the price of the deck, but if you've got the cards laying around, put them together in a deck, it is a fun deck to play. So if you buy yourself a box and hit a bunch of good stuff, put this deck together, play with it, let us know how it works. Also, we always love feedback, so if you'd make some changes, let us know down in the comments section what they would be. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Deuces. Hey, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, go down below and find that subscribe button. Press it and the notification bell so that you'll know when we post new videos. If you've got some feedback, follow that arrow to the comment section and let us know what you think. See you next time.